Welcome back, action figure fans. This is Spoods and Studs, and looks like the release train has slowed down a little bit so I can fit in some original content for you all. In this video, we are going to be rewinding time a little bit and taking a look at some vehicles that were released during version 1 and version 2 era of JoyToy, namely the combat bike and the Invader ATV. I kind of was curious, to be honest, whether these vehicles would accommodate a version 3 or a version 4 Space Marine. And without further ado, let's get to the Does It Fit video. If you have happened to miss my version 1 through version 4 comparison video, I will give you a very quick breakdown with regards to the size creep. The size creep comes from the legs of all these Space Marines. So we have a version 2, version 3, and version 4 over here. And you can see the marked difference between the size of the legs from the version 2 all the way up to the version 4. The purpose of this video is just to take a look at whether these Space Marines fit into past vehicles. We are going to start off with the combat bike. Now, this combat bike that you see here was released right around when the version 2 Marines were out. So obviously these are going to be catered toward that size and also that leg length. We are going to take a look at whether the version 3 or 4 is going to be able to comfortably sit on this bike. Here we have the version 2 Marine, and I'll have to say that he does actually comfortably sit on the bike itself. Through some finagling, the arms actually do reach the handlebars, and I'll have to say these legs are a bit too short because it does not reach these footrests here. So I imagine when we put the version 3 Marine in, it will fit perfectly like a glove. We now have the version 3 Ultramarine sitting in the saddle of this combat bike, and I will have to say that this one does sit pretty well. The arms do comfortably reach the handlebars. He's got kind of a forward sitting position here. I'll readjust it back, and he looks pretty comfortable in my opinion. The legs actually do reach the footrest without any kind of issues whatsoever. And now we have the version 4 figure over here, and I will have to say that the arms do not comfortably reach the handlebars. They actually fall quite short of it, and I know that you can kind of finagle this around to make it fit, but it doesn't look like Titus is very comfortable in the saddle of this combat bike. His legs are actually splayed out a lot more than the other action figures that have been previously in the saddle, and the splayed outness is the only way that Titus is actually able to sit. He almost looks like an adult trying to sit in a toddler's bike or tricycle. And here is another view detailing how the legs are. And I will have to say as a verdict that this action figure does not fit very well in the combat bike. Now we have the Invader ATV, which again was designed around the version 2 Marines. Just to remind you, I will put this version 2 Marine in the seat right here, as well as in the back. Obviously, you're gonna have to finagle around to have him sit comfortably in the driver's seat. And I will have to say, for the most part, this action figure does fit. The arms are a little bit short, as you can see here. You kind of have to prop this Marine forward like this to have him properly grip the handlebars. And the reason why I'm not having this action figure grip the handlebars is because the V2 hands suck, and it's a pain in the ass to actually get them to grip the handlebars correctly. Taking a look at the legs, they do seem to fit quite snugly in the footwell. And that's the same case over here on the right side of this ATV. Now we have the version 3 Intercessor here, and we will now try to fit this in. I did kind of like a pre-test with this before, and this one actually does take a little bit of finagling to get in, just because the legs are actually longer. This version 3 Marine can comfortably grip the handlebars without any kind of issues whatsoever. You don't really have to contort this action figure to make him grip the handlebars, which is actually kind of nice. The version 2 one, you kind of have to do it that way. Now the legs, on the other hand, surprisingly do fit in the footwell here, although it bumps up to this bolter, unfortunately. So it does actually rub back and forth when I move this bolter around, as you can see here. However, we don't really have the same issue on the right side. So I will have to say that the version 3 does fit the cockpit of this ATV. Now Titus, on the other hand, is too fat in the leg area. He has gained too much weight over the years, so it is actually not possible for him to sit in the cockpit of this ATV. He just kind of sits like this, which is really not sitting. It's more like standing in the cockpit, unfortunately. So with regards to this version 4 Marine, this is definitely going to be a no-go. But you can already tell that on this version 4, the shin area is much wider than this version 3, as well as the leg area is just way too long for Titus to sit here. Now, focusing in on the gunner area, I would think that all versions of the Space Marines fit quite nicely. So this is the version 2 that we have over here, and he is able to reach the handles of this assault cannon quite nicely without any kind of issues whatsoever. You know what, as I'm looking at this configuration right here, I feel almost as if this action figure is a little bit too short in my opinion. I don't know if he actually stands very comfortably in the back over here, but I'm sure that's going to be solved by the tallness of the version 3. All right, we have version 3 comfortably in the gunner's position, and I will have to say it fits really nicely. Look how great this action figure stands in the back. He looks absolutely perfect back here with the added length of the legs. The pose of this action figure in the back looks a lot more natural than the version 2 that we just took a look at. Now we'll put Titus in the gunner seat. Okay, we have Titus's hands firmly wrapped around the assault cannon's trigger and handle, and there does not seem to be any kind of fitment issues right here. The nice thing about this assault cannon is that it pivots up and down, so it's able to kind of accommodate the extra tallness of the Titus figure that we have here. Interestingly enough, I would have to say that the Titus figure also stands quite nicely in the back of this ATV, and he doesn't seem like he is too short or too tall for it. All right, JoyToy action figure fans, please let me know what you thought of this video in the comment section below. What do you think I missed, and what do you think I could have added to make this video better? Perhaps based on your comments below, I will consider doing another one of these videos based off of what you want. So with regard to the combat bike, I know that that was specifically made for a version 2 action figure, and I was actually surprised that the legs didn't reach the whole entire way. I just completely forgot about it, to be honest. And then if you decide to put a version 3 figure in there, because the legs are a little bit longer, it actually sits a lot more comfortable in the saddle of the combat bike. Now with regards to the ATV, there actually was no surprise there. I already knew that the version 2 figure was going to fit probably the best, and you're going to have some issues with the version 3. You have to finagle around to get in the cockpit, and due to Titus's size, I kind of presumed that his legs were going to block this action figure from sitting comfortably in the driver's seat on the ATV. Now with this back section, the assault cannon can be moved up and down, so there were no problems over there fitting the version 2 through 4 figures. So if you're interested in purchasing any of these action figures, please consider clicking the link in the description below, where you will be brought to David Toys, because I think that this is the only store that you should be buying these action figures at because of their customer service, their free shipping, and I have not run into any issues with them in the 3 years that I have used them, which I believe is a testament to how great this action figure company is. And before you check out, use the code SNS to receive 12% off of your purchase. And so, JoyToy action figure fans, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.